Aston Villa 1, Man City 0. We're turning to the Olympics. Swim Ireland national team trials this week, and yesterday was a very good day for some. We had 19-year-old Daniel Whiffen, who knocked 21 seconds off his previous best in the 800-metre freestyle and is Olympics bound. And then Mona McSharry, she broke 67 seconds in the 100-metre breaststroke. She is also Tokyo bound, and I'm very happy to say she is on the line with us this evening. Evening, Mona.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Olympian Mona McSharry. That sounds a hell of a lot better, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It's a dream come true. I think it's still sinking in slowly.
Is it relief? Is it elation? Mixture of the two? What's the overriding emotion the last 24 hours?
Oh, it's definitely a relief. You know, this has been weighing on my mind for, since 2016, really, because since then I knew that I was close enough to 2016 to know that I'd definitely be able to make the 2020. And I think just stressing about that and not having an opportunity to show that I can make it until now, it's just great to have it done and be able to just enjoy racing again, I guess.
Breathe again. How much pressure was on yesterday, as in with regard to Olympic qualification? How many chances would you get? Like, if yesterday had gone horribly wrong, and thank God it didn't, but if it had gone horribly wrong, would you have had many more opportunities to qualify for Tokyo?
As of the trials, we had the heats, semis, and then the finals. So there was 3 opportunities, with the last one being just tonight gone by. So I had 3 chances in the 100 breaststroke, and then I have 3 chances in the 200 as well to make the time in that. And then they've brought in a new protocol now that if you're close enough but didn't make it at the trials, you can find another FINA approved meet in June and make it. But thankfully I don't need to worry about any of that because I've got my ticket.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so there would have been maybe an opportunity in June, but it doesn't sound like you get a bunch of goes either. It's not like, oh, hey, no biggie, I missed out this week. There was a fair degree of pressure riding on this.
Yeah, no, definitely. And for me personally, going in, I wanted it to be that this is the only opportunity. I didn't want to think, oh, it's, it doesn't really matter how I swim this weekend because I have another chance in June. I was taking it as this is my only chance and I'm going to go and do it now.
Because there's no guarantee in June you'll be feeling better. I mean, you could feel sick in June on the day you need to feel well, and suddenly your dream is up in smoke. And I mean, geez, how do you try and get your head around that 4-year blow up?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm never going to push it off. I, as shown, I wanted to go for it in the heats. I ran one. I was ready to just do it straight away. And, if I didn't get it, I would have been prepared to come back and do it in the semifinals or the finals. But, you only get so many opportunities and I wasn't going to throw any of them away. So I was really excited to just get in and go for it in the heats.
Am I right in saying you swam even faster in the semi-final than the final?
Yes, I did. The final, I took a little bit of a different approach and was focusing actually on the first 100 of my 200. So that was a little bit slower, but expected when, you're swimming a 200, the first 100 is not going to be the same as a 100. So yeah, that's why that was a little bit slower.
So what is your strongest event, Mona?
At the moment, it is definitely the 100. That's something I've always focused on and I've always been really good at as a junior and going up through the ranks. But I think I believe that I can be a really good 200 breaststroker as well, especially with how the 100 semi-final went last night. And the way that I swam it was very much focusing on distance per stroke rather than speed and tempo. And I didn't really have a very high tempo. I had a lower tempo, which is much better suited for the 200. So I'm actually really excited to swim the 200 later this week and see how that goes.
Okay, so ideal world, am I right in saying in Tokyo you'll be competing in the 100 and then hopefully this week goes well, 200 as well in Tokyo?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I kind of moved away from the 200 over the last few years and really focused in on the 100, and that's great, and I've qualified in that now, so it takes a bit of the stress off. But if I can qualify in another event, that'd be great. 2 events at the Olympics would be just amazing.
And I presume it's doable enough, is it? Like, I feel like Phelps was in about a gazillion events.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Whether I hit it this week, I'm not sure yet myself, because I feel like I'm still learning with the 200. I'm still learning with the 100 as well, but I'm just excited to kind of give it a go and see where I can take it, because there's so many different ways that you can swim a race.
Yes.
And I'm just excited to kind of take the first step, I guess, and see what I can achieve in the 200.
And by the way, when I say it seems doable enough, I mean like Slob here sitting in a radio studio talking about the Olympics. Doable enough for you, less so for the rest of us. It'd be absolutely extraordinary compared to any normal person. What would be the big difference in the demands of a 100 and 200 metre race then? Like, it always strikes me, it's the athletes going around the track have this great luxury of a giant clock all the way around, and they can pace themselves perfectly. So I presume pacing and all of this kind of stuff comes into it.
Yeah, no, definitely. With the 100, you are pacing to an extent, but it's very much, it's a sprint, and you're giving it your all from the beginning. And in a 200, you have to be a lot more patient. And that's something that I struggle with. The way I used to swim a lot of races in the past, 200s, 100s, is go out kind of as fast as possible and hang on. I'm not a great pacer. And I like to be ahead. So I've been really trying to work, and I've been trying to work on, holding back a bit, and then, trusting that I know how I'm going to swim the race and don't care about what anyone else is doing around me. But it is very difficult, especially when you don't know what's going on. You can't see a clock. All you're doing is, for me, all I'm doing is counting strokes in breaststroke. But that's, I can't really tell what the time is from that.
Okay, and I presume in those milliseconds where you come up above the water in the breaststroke, there's no glancing at a clock there.
No, definitely not. There's no glancing anywhere. It's up and down as quick as possible, get the air, and then back into a streamlined position.
And would you know from picking the brains of coaches or talking to other swimmers, in terms of, say, the 200 metres, would the world's best be kind of go flat out merchants and then hang on towards the end, or would the world's best tend to pace themselves, i.e., set a decent pace but keep something in reserve for a kick towards the end, or does it vary?
I think it varies a lot, because especially with breaststroke, there's a lot of different ways you can swim it. I'm very kick dominant, and I don't use my upper body as much, whereas you'll have other swimmers like, for the likes of Adam Peaty, who are a lot more, like, he has a very powerful kick, but he gets so much from his pull as well. So, it depends on where the propulsion is for that swimmer firstly, and then you have swimmers that will go out really slow in the first 100 and then just switch it up and hit a completely different tempo and really catch people. And then you have other swimmers like me who prefer to almost be ahead and just try and keep the lead. But I think it's honestly what works for that swimmer, and it's so varied across the board. You could swim in a million different ways, and you just have to find what works for you.
And will you be working on trying to improve your pull as opposed to your kick, or is it generally accepted as okay to have one dominant over the other?
I think I've definitely come a long way from what I used to do. My back 3 or 4 years ago, my motto for swimming breaststroke was just, bring my arms around as fast as possible so that I can then get kicking again, like not wasting any time trying to catch, because it really didn't do a lot for me. And I've worked a lot over this year, making sure that I'm feeling the water a little bit more. And I do have a good pull, but I think I'm always going to be a kick dominant breaststroker. And, it is quite a kick dominant stroke to begin with, but for me, I think that's just the way that I swim it, and I'm just good at swimming it that way.
Hey, look, it's working for you. I mean, your semi-final time in the 100 yesterday, I think, was 7th on the current world rankings. So, I mean, you're operating at a brilliant level. Has training gone pretty well over the last year, 18 months? Obviously been strange times, but has your fitness been good? No injuries?
Yeah, no, training has been really good, and I've been blessed. Training in Tennessee this year, we've been, I've had enough, I've been training with 40 plus other ladies, and we're all in a bubble together, coaches and treatment and everything. I could have everything I need, and I don't have to step outside the bubble. So it's been really safe, and I haven't really missed any training, which is great.
That's Tennessee University. You're in college over there?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Great. What are you studying?
I'm currently undecided. I can stay in the undecided program for the first 2 years until I decide what I want to do. So I'm just doing a lot more gen eds at the moment, like stuff that my grades from the Leaving Cert didn't really carry over. They don't accept them, so I have to do that stuff anyway to graduate in 4 years. So I'm just getting all that stuff done, and then when I decide what I want to do, I guess I'll make that decision.
Wow, that's nice. They don't rush you. It gives you that kind of little bit of space to think and figure out who you are.
Great.
Yeah. What's on the menu, or what's on the short list?
It's definitely going to be something biology related. I've leveled it down that far, animal science, biology, something along those lines. I'm probably going to end up keeping it pretty general. It'll probably just be a general biology course, because then I can do a lot of different smaller stuff within that kind of supplement all that I want to do, because I don't have a specific job in mind yet. So I'm just going to keep it pretty general, I think.
Brilliant. I presume Tennessee, big sports university, great swimming facilities, good swimming program.
Yeah, just amazing. Like, the facilities that they have over there is just, next to none. I suppose from what I'm used to anyway, like we have two 50-meter pools. Not that you need them, you only need the one, which is great. We have at least one. Outdoor pool, indoor pool, 25 yards and 25 meters. So we have it all there, and it's in such close proximity, which is just amazing. And it's really nice to be able to study on campus and live on campus and just be able to have everything so close.
Do you compete against other universities then?
Yeah, I do. I just finished up the collegiate season for this year about a month ago. We competed at NCAAs.
I presume in normal times, when people are allowed in, those are pretty raucous events. I mean, I guess the football seems to loom large, and they can fill 80,000 seater stadiums for college football matches. But I get the impression college students will go along and support everything and have a few beers, and there's probably a pretty good atmosphere, I would think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And listening to the girls talk about previous years, even watching videos, you can see the passion. But even there was no spectators this year allowed, which was definitely sad. But for me, it wasn't something I was used to anyway, so I didn't really miss it as much as some of the older girls on the team. But even within the team, you don't even need spectators because of all the ladies that are cheering. You could be next racing up, and you're still cheering for the person in the heat before you that's on your team, which I just think is amazing. And it's not something that's done enough, I think, in other places. Just supporting each other, and not getting so bogged down on your race. And I know it's important to concentrate, and I'd be one that has a very set routine before my race, and I like to follow it. But I think that this year has really helped me kind of step outside that a little bit and just enjoy the moment and cheer for others, and get energy from watching other people do well. And I think that's something that Americans know how to do really well, especially in the collegiate system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess, well, again, in normal times, it's good practice to be operating in a loud, raucous environment if you're going to an Olympics, as opposed to suddenly being ambushed by the whole thing. Interesting, you said you have a strict routine. That's generally to guard against nerves as much as anything. Are you nervous type?
I am, if I'm sitting around like anyone else and letting my mind think about it. I think I do get a little bit nervous. I've definitely gotten a lot better at training myself mentally so that I'm a lot more calm, and visualization has helped with that too, so that I know what I'm going there to do. Visualizing your race, and then having done it in your head, you can do it. But I think, having a set routine is just amazing. Even the day before the 100 breaststroke there, I was very busy with college work, which was amazing because it just kept me distracted. And then the morning of, I woke up 4 hours before my race, and from then I have a routine in place that kind of allows for the majority of the time, and it doesn't really give me time to think and stress about my race, and it's just great.
Yeah, makes sense. What are some of the pillars of your routine?
Well, like I said, getting up 4 hours before my race would be one that I find very important, because you want to be alert. And I think sometimes that may be why athletes don't compete as well in the morning, because you're not fully awake yet.
Okay, so if you've an 8-9 a.m. race, you're up 4 hours.
Yeah. Which worked well really here for this meet, because I think I was racing at like 10:55, so I didn't have to get up that early. But in Tennessee, we as a full team get up and do group warm-ups 4 hours before the first event, so not even your event, which is is great. But it really got me into the mindset of that. And then I guess you have your breakfast, and then I arrive 2 hours beforehand at the pool, and then from that point it's just rolling into my normal pool routine. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do before every race. And then I guess it's a little bit different for the evening times, but yeah, it's pretty set, which I like.
Yeah. So look, this is an amazing thing to be going to an Olympic Games, very special, very select group. What's the first games you really remember? What were the first games that grabbed you?
I definitely remember watching 2012 and seeing Ruta, who was a really good 100 breaststroker back then. And I think she was only 15 and she won the 100 breaststroke at the age of 15. And I think just watching that was just unbelievable for me. That's, I didn't watch all the swimming for the 2012, but I did watch, the 100 breaststroke, and because that was an event that, I like to swim. And I guess watching her do it at such a young age was just so inspiring, because she seemed like I could kind of relate to that a lot more than someone who's 21, 22. And that was kind of my first moment. And I guess from that point on, then 12, 13-year-old me was thinking, yeah, I'd like to be there. I'd like to be at the Olympics.
Yeah, geez, it's happened double quick time. I mean, it's so young, 15, to be winning gold at London 2012, and I think you're turning 21 ahead of the games this year. These days, what age would you be perceived to be at your peak? What will I guess it could vary, of course, but received wisdom or the general feeling out there, when will you be in your peak years?
It's hard to tell, but I see a lot of swimmers that, between the age of 21, even like 22, 23, up to about 26, 27, and then even further when they continue. It really does depend. But I think that, you will have those young superstars, like Ruta, who wins at the age of 15. And, like I swam a 107 4 years ago, and, went 0.2 faster today, and that was a qualification time for the Olympics, and then went faster again. But, so it just shows that I was quite speedy at a young age too. But I think I'm going for the 2024 Olympics when I'm about 23, 24. I think that's going to be my prime personally. And I think that's the same for a lot of athletes that you see.
Great. Well, listen, what a fun 4 years ahead, I guess. Something to really look forward to. Big congratulations again. So going to the Olympics, like we said, we look forward to watching you in a couple of months' time. Hope preparation goes great in the meantime. Mona McSharry, absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us, Mona.
Thank you so much.